Suck my balls, Kyle. No, he has to suck my balls!
You like to suck my balls, don't deny it.
Oh, suck my balls, you ginger Jew rat hall monitor! Punk-ass stoolie, who the do you think you are? Suck my balls, K-10. That's right, suck my Canadian balls! Suck my balls! No, you suck my balls! Thanks, everybody. Suck my balls! Yeah, whatever, you can suck our balls. Suck my balls, 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 suck my balls.
How would you children like to suck on my chocolate salty balls?
Oh, you mean like a chocolate candy?
No, I mean my balls.
Yes. Yes!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Yes, welcome back to another edition of Shake My Balls. Shake My Balls. Shake My Balls. Shake My Balls. Suck My Balls. A South Park review. I'm your host in the heat, and I can't be beat. I'm your guy who's high where the air is dry. Ya boy, MSGGG. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Matthew_Chapter. Each and every week, two other dudes like to give me attitude and jump on with a podcast with me, tell me why I'm right. Because I'm always right on this show. Yeah, I'm making proclamations to start today. MSG's feeling a certain way about these goddamn GooBacks because they took our job. Normally joining us on the podcast, Scoop was having some computer issues as far as recording remotely and was unable to come over and record with us today. So, back again, as he usually is, getting ready for another exciting week in the world of professional wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, the doctor, he's got a brand new prescription this week, and that prescription is for pain. That's right. He's going to give you those kills that kill those pains. The painkillers, ladies and gentlemen. The doctor's in session. Dr. Dirty Joe Vernola.
That's right! My prescription is paid! And when I see you in the ring, I'm gonna make sure I dole out that prescription because I am the painkiller!
I like how you channeled the Ultimate Warrior there in your promo. I was waiting for you to, and the little warriors are gonna come down with me, and the little Vernolas are gonna sit down on my knee, and we're all gonna have one big happy family, yeah.
Let me tell you something. The Vernola Maniacs are gonna jump onto the biggest stick in the world as I just backstroke my way out.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're back for South Park. We're amped up. This is a good episode. It's the 6th episode of Season 8. It's the 117th overall episode, but more importantly, it's Suck My Balls, episode number 121. Welcome back. We hope you have enjoyed the litany of the 100 plus podcasts we put out. Over 100 episodes are available for you to download. Of course, we're sponsored by the BigBoysClub.com. Use our code SuckMyBallsPod and you'll save 20%, where you can look always fresh and you'll be always ready by going to the BigBoysClub.com. Not just a brand, it's a lifestyle. Each and every week, me, Joe, Scoop, the three of us, two of us, myself, every now and then review South Park for you in linear fashion. That means we like to review South Park in order. This week, we're up to Season 8, as I mentioned, Episode 6. And if you haven't listened to any of the episodes, go back, download them, like, share, give us a 5-star review, and then tell us how you really feel. Roast us, that's fine. But give us a 5-star review on those platforms and take us to the top. Let's get South Park up there, all right? And shout out to Scoop. We love you too. Ladies and gentlemen, you're here to get down with us with, it's the GooBacks. Are you ready to talk about these GooBacks, Joe?
I'm definitely ready to talk about these GooBacks taking our goddamn germs!
So I apologize. I misspoke earlier. GooBacks is the 7th episode, not the 6th episode, the 7th episode of season 8 and the 118th overall episode. It is, of course, our 121st episode, and it aired, that being South Park, this episode aired on April the 28th, 2004. What is this episode about, you may be asking yourself? Well, here's how it breaks down. So early in the morning, a mysterious, I guess you might say, I don't know, portal or some sort of time portal, time chamber, break in time itself, like a rift in time, a space rift itself opens up, right? And this alien looking man appears and he enters from that portal, unfamiliar with surroundings, and then he gets hit by a car. So that's how this episode kind of starts out, and you're like, okay, what's going on? Well, a while later, we cut then right over to the boys. Now, the boys are shoveling some snow, and of course, they got their own little small business running, and Cartman is kind of the negotiator here. As he opens the door, the lady opens the door that they knock on, offer to shovel her driveway, and Cartman says, it's going to be $8,000. She, of course, says, how about 10? Cartman says, well, man, you're breaking my balls. Oh, Jesus Christ, you're breaking my balls. And she ends up, upping it up to $15. So, of course, Cartman was able to negotiate some more. Now, Cartman gets on the phone, starts talking. He's a little bit lazy. Kyle is objecting to the fact that Cartman is lazy. And then Cartman and Kyle get into a scuffle, or I guess one quick punch from Kyle to Cartman as they knock on the door. And, as Cartman is bleeding from the nose. And when they're inside the woman's house, this is when they see that the time portal is said to follow Terminator rules, as it's one-way portal opposed to two-way portal like Back to the Future. And, of course, unlike Time Rider rules, which the latter is just plain silly. So,
and unlike Time Rider rules, which are just plain silly.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that was a good point to point
out.
Yeah, all right,
was.
So Time Rider rules. So let's go ahead and go to that clip here of the kids starting their snow shoveling business here. We don't need to play the sound of an alien running and then getting hit by a car. So here is the actual clip of the boys starting their snow shoveling business.
We're going around town and offering snow shoveling service. Would you like your driveway and sidewalk shoveled for $8,000?
Oh, well, I certainly could use some little snow shovelers, but $8,000 seems a little steep. How about $10?
Ooh, ouch, man. Please let go of that tight grip you have on my balls. $10 is breaking my balls, man.
How about $15?
It's a deal. All right, guys, let's get to work. Yeah, it was totally awesome. Craig crapped his pants when he saw it. Yeah, sweet. So what's going on over there? Yeah, that's pretty cool. No way. He did not. Oh, dude, that is so weak. What?
You've been on your phone since we started.
Dude, I'm taking a break.
A break from what? You haven't done anything.
Kyle, how many times do we have to go through this? I'm the negotiator. I negotiate our price with the customers.
All you ever do is talk about your balls.
It works, doesn't it? Did I not just get a set for $5?
If you want your share of the money, then you're gonna shovel snow like the rest of us.
Hey, don't boss me around, you Jew. I will kick your ass.
You're lucky my shoulder's sore.
Right.
Ma'am, do you have a rag and some bandages?
Oh, goodness, what happened?
Shoveling accident.
Oh, no, come on inside. Wait right here, I'll be right back.
You're so lucky I have a sore shoulder, Kyle, or else I would have let you have it. Carmen, just keep your mouth shut.
And Stan's like, dude, just shut the fuck up. He's gonna fucking nail you again.
Right? So I want to talk about this really quick. So Stan himself, he refers to the fact that, Cartman should just shut his mouth, right? Not say anymore. But, Cartman kind of had a good point here. He did negotiate, a higher dollar amount. What Cartman should be doing is looking to negotiate like $25, because then he could be like, look, just pay me $5 and not work, and you guys keep the 20 and split it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they make more money to actually do the work, and Cartman still makes his $5 commission, and all he has to do is do the break my bounce.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here.
It makes sense, but even then, I don't think the boys would have seen the value of a negotiator, and they probably would have found another reason to be mad at Cartman.
The negotiator. There we go. See, now you can just see the YouTube thing.
Yeah. I will find you, And I will kill you.
Okay. All right, so Stan now, he's going to return home to see that his parents have been watching the newscast, and apparently the first immigrant success has inspired another one to come, as apparently this immigrant has gotten a job at Wendy's. And because of that success itself, his family in the future is now better off. As we find out that the reason why the people are coming from the future is that the future is so bad, so poverty-stricken, that they can barely survive. So they have to come now back to the past to try and put some money in the bank so that way it will accumulate interest, which while in the future won't make them rich in 30, 45, it will, of course, help them to at least have a better life, which I thought was kind of funny that it wouldn't actually make them rich, that inflation is so bad there that it probably would just make them like poor, lower income, just to, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Inflation is pretty bad. So
unlike Fry, when he puts his money in the bank and he became a
billionaire, I know.
And spent it all on fucking anchovies.
And then I love the twitch he makes when he finds out he's rich.
Right. Anyway, so now early next morning, several other immigrants mentioned are coming in, and they bring in their wives and children now. So the next morning now, or the next day, the boys once again offer shoveling services. However, they're going to find out, Joe, that the immigrants have come in and they've taken their job. And not only have they taken their job, they've taken it for the low, low price of 25 cents.
I know. What the fuck?
Like, that's ridiculous. Like, you want to talk about undercutting those kids. I mean,
right? Like, at that point, why don't you just do it for 2 fucking pennies? Right? Inflation, you know?
Christ. All right, so here's that clip.
Yes?
Hello, Mrs. Landis. Would you like snow shoveling service again today?
Ooh, oh dear. I'm sorry, boys, but I've already hired someone else to do it.
What? Who?
One of those immigrants from the future. He said he would do it for 25 cents.
25 cents? Well, that's not even worth it. All right, guys, come on. Let's go to the next house.
Here's what I don't understand, and this is a little bit of a spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen an 18-year-old episode. Like, it's established in a few minutes that, like, they don't speak English, and when they do speak English, it is not very well.
Right?
How
are they negotiating their way?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I've said.
What name I not? Name I not?
No.
What going on? What not?
I don't know.
No.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, like.
Well, here's a realization from Stan and the rest of the boys.
Dude.
Kyle.
Son of a bitch.
Still more immigrants from the future arrived at the time border today, some even bringing their entire families. The purplish goo that they have on their bodies when they arrive.
Here's where he's going to explain about the time
This is all giving scientists
immigrants
a great opportunity to learn even more about American life in the future. Chris Hall joins us now. Chris? Yes, there are incredible things we're learning about Americans in the future, Aaron. It appears that in the future, Americans have evolved into a hairless, uniform mix of all races. They are all one color, which is a yellowy, light brownish, whitish color. It seems race is no longer an issue in the future because all ethnicities have mixed into one. Perhaps most interesting is how this has affected their language. That people in the future speak a complete mix of English, Chinese, Turkish, and indeed all world languages, which sounds something like this. Back to you, Aaron. Apparently the people from the future are having a pretty easy time finding work. Since they offer to work for such low wages, they're being hired all over America. This is bullcrap!
All right, before we get to the next scene, we have to set this up because this is a very synonymous scene within South Park. So, as we mentioned, CNN, they're explained about the future Americans that they are a hairless, uniform mix of all races with the same color skin, and their language is also a mix from all world languages. Now, it's interesting, okay, I want to point this out, that Matt Stone and Trey Parker would make this part of their joke because we'll say from an extreme Christian conservative standpoint, there are people in that sector that believe this is going to happen, that believe that by having interracial relationships, by giving humans the ability to identify in whatever nature that they want, that we're going to all eventually end up being some sort of amalgamate of a hairless uniform mix of all races with no definable characteristics of sexuality.
Oh, yeah, I hadn't heard the no defining characteristics of sexuality part before, but like the rest of it, where it's one global language and everything, and even it's. I don't think it's going to happen in 1,000 years, but maybe over the next 10,000 years or something like that.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Fair enough.
I think the world would come to an end before that, to be quite honest. I think there are too many countries that are rooted in their cultural, religious values that would not let that happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before letting it happen is what I think would happen.
Gotcha.
Well, some of these guys are willing to do some extreme stuff here in the next scene here as we learn about, the working men of South Park, as the working men are upset at this town hall meeting that takes place at the South Park town hall meeting. And they're arguing about with their various unions who are in attendance, and they're discussing their intolerance of immigrants. And the reason why they're discussing their intolerance is the fact that these immigrants came in and took the jobs, jobs at these, for instance, Daryl Weathers, what were introduced. He's the foreman, and he's also the foreman of the meeting. He's a construction worker, and he says that, they worked long and hard to get their pay high enough to make a decent living. And then he angrily states that the immigrants are looking to do that work for low wages, and they took our jobs. The other men, right?
Sorry.
No, you're good. The other men agree and yell out the same thing. They took our jobs. They of course continue to repeat this line throughout the episode. The chants decline to sound like the infamous "they took our dirt" chant. This eventually becomes completely unintelligible, including the example "dirt." Now, as the immigrants from the future continue to come in, we mentioned Stan and his friends. Their jobs were taken. Well, Stan reports, of course, his situation, and I like Stan's situation as well. But let's go ahead and we're going to play that scene.
Yeah, Stan's is good.
I ain't standing for this. All right, folks, my name is Daryl Weathers, and I'm with the Construction Workers Union. I work with a lot of fine men who have families to feed. Now, I don't know about y'all, but we worked long and hard to get our pay up to a level where we can make a decent living. And now these people from the future are showing up and offering to do the same work for next to nothing. They took our jobs. We're in the moving business. 14 years we've been working our butts off. Now these future folk come in and we can't get work nowhere. Well, they took our jobs. They took your jobs. They took your job, brother. What about us in the fast food business? The restaurants are firing us because the future people work for a lot less. They took our jobs. Your job. They took your job.
It's affecting kids, too. Me and my friends started our own snow shoveling business. We were trying to be responsible and make money, But then the people from the future came along, and now we're out of work, too.
Oh, yeah.
They took our jobs.
They took your job.
They took our job.
Oh, that's kind of ridiculous. So as the immigrants from the future continue to come more and more, and we mentioned Stan reported losing his job. Now, Stan's parents later that night are going to find out that Stan is not too fond of the people from the future, as he comes home and finds out that there is a brand new housekeeper who is going to help them on Tuesdays and Thursdays. This is Mrs. whatever. And basically Stan was like, "Oh, you hired a GooBack? Those people from the future taking all their jobs." And you just see Randy and Sharon. "Stanley, why would you say that? They're only taking the small menial jobs that nobody else really wants to do." Of course, he lectures that it's wrong to judge the immigrants because they came from crappy conditions compared to present day. And Sharon also goes on to say, "We're not raising our son to be a time sis." And Stan's like, "A time sis?" She's like, a racist, but against some. And then Stan's like finishing her sentence, "But someone from the future." Yeah, I get it. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to go up here to the O'Reilly factor. This is a good clip. So Weathers, we've got Daryl Weathers, who's pissed off white trash redneck conservative. And he's, of course, opposite to aging hippie liberal douche. And every question that's answered is either they took our jobs or the aging liberal hippie douche, has a counter argument about how the immigrants have it so bad that it's not their fault and that really it's the government's fault. And the aging liberal douche actually makes a good point. But I think that point only really applies to present day America, not to future people. I'm sorry. But let's go ahead.
Right.
Welcome to the No Spin Zone. All right. And what we're talking about today are the immigrants from the future. All right. And most people are more than happy to give a helping hand to these people who obviously need it. All right. But others are starting to say that the time portal should be closed off. All right. Now, I've got two guests with me tonight who have opposing views on the matter. On my right is pissed off white trash redneck conservative.
Thanks for having me, Bill.
And on my left is aging hippie liberal douche.
Hello.
Now, pissed off redneck, you say we shouldn't allow anyone else through the time portal, all right?
You're goddamn right. These people from the future are taking all the work away from us decent present-day Americans. They took our jobs. They took our jobs. Those jobs belong to people from the present.
All right? What say you, aging hippie liberal douche?
It's typical for conservative rednecks like these to view the immigrants as the problem. But really, the problem is America. It is our greedy multinational corporations that keep everyone else in poverty. Your ancestors came to America as immigrants. What right do you have to turn these people away?
All right, redneck, your rebuttal?
They took our jobs.
They took our jobs. They took our jobs.
So, like, I think he makes a good point here, aging hippie liberal douche. I mean, he's right in the regards of current day present America, that, you know, and as far as in America itself, that, you know, there is a lot of poverty and a lot of lower base jobs as far as the economy is concerned. And that is controlled by a lot of multinational corporates and organizations, right? So, like, the argument there is fair. But in regards to things that are out of your control, such as, you know, immigrants from the future, I don't know if that analogy applies there.
Right.
Because, I mean, that's out of hand. That's something that's certainly even more out of your control, right?
Yeah.
You can place laws and sanctions and do better things when it comes to opening, closing your country's borders and or immigration, right? The big thing everyone's arguing about right now is Title 42, right? Whether or not that's going to come to an end or not. So, like, those kind of things are still relevant. And again, those are, you know, tactics placed by our current government to reduce the amount of immigration. But that doesn't completely get rid of immigration and end it all. So, like, his point of view does make sense in our context of life, but not in the context of a portal coming from the future.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
and obviously this whole time traveler thing was euphemism or way to say immigrants without saying what immigrants they were actually talking about.
Right, exactly. No, that's a good point too as well. All right, well, let's go here now. We're going to go back to South Park Elementary. His life in South Park is going to be a little bit different now. As Mr. Garrison, Joe, he's going to have to teach both present day English and future speak. And it's going to shock some of the boys.
All right, children, the school board has mandated that I must now teach class in both present-day English and future speak.
What?
So, with that in mind, let's continue our lessons on verbs. Remember that there are transitive verbs, such as the boy threw the red ball, which in future speak, of course, is... Everyone say it with me.
Greg?
And there are intransitive verbs, such as the 11:15 bus
like
from
one
Denver
word here.
arrived 12 hours late. Or in future speak.
Dude, hold on. This is bullcrap. If they want to live in our time, then they should learn our language. Yeah, right.
Hey now, these immigrants have a right to retain their culture. Who are we to say our language is best? They deserve to have an education just as much as you do.
Thank you, aging hippie liberal douche.
You betcha.
What?
I mean, they have a right to their culture and everything and to continue practicing it. But, like, I don't know if that's...
No, I agree with you. Like, if I go to another country, I don't expect people to know English. I have to learn their language, right?
When I got stationed in Japan, I started learning Japanese. It was a little easier there because I was close to Tokyo and most of them spoke English, but like it was still like I put in an effort to learn Japanese because I was in Japan.
The problem is in America, opposed to other international countries, I think in America, we look down on people who don't know how to speak English, quote unquote, perfectly.
Oh, yeah, no. And there's definitely some of that elitism and ignorism. And it's ignorance, it's elitism.
It's like, well, you moved here. Why don't you already know our language kind of attitude? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
which
is just fucking stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't ever hate on somebody who's like learning the language, and if they're struggling to get through, it's like, oh no, you're trying. Like I appreciate.
Yeah, like exactly. Like, okay, cool. I appreciate the effort. Let me help you with how to pronounce it or something.
Right, because I want the same thing if I'm in another country.
Yeah.
I want someone to feel like giggle. I mean, haha, that's kind of funny how you pronounce that word. How but yeah, let me show you how it's done, or let me help you. Exactly. So back to the classroom here as we finish us up here.
Timmy. Okay, now let's get back to it, kids. What kind of verb is this? The sad girl puts balls in her mouth. Or in future speak, of course. Right. Balls.
Right. This is bullcrap! Listen up, everybody. We've just received a reply from our congressman. Dear intolerant rednecks, we sympathize with you all losing your jobs. However, we feel your solution of shooting everyone who crosses the time border is inhumane. What? That's ridiculous.
That was a good idea.
So it appears the government ain't gonna help us, which means we gotta take matters into our own hands. The only way to stop people from the future is to stop the future from happening.
Hey, that's right. If there is no future, then there'll be no people from the future to come back and take our jobs.
All right. So, any ideas how we can stop the future from happening?
Let's got one of your favorite lines coming up here. I thought about you.
How about we cause more global warming so that in the future, the polar ice caps melt and it ushers in a new ice age?
I'm going to pause for a second just so I can set this up again. This is one of the favorite parts of Joe's fandom of South Park, just how Daryl replies. And one of the lines, it's just one of his favorite lines. Okay, here we go.
How the hell is global warming going to cause an ice age?
Well, you know, the global warming could bring on like a climate shift or something.
Chet, you are a fucking retard. You know that? Even if global warming were real, which all proven scientific data shows it isn't, it would take millions of years for a climate shift to happen. You think an ice age can just happen all of a sudden like?
Well, I was just trying to be helpful.
Well, help yourself to a fucking science book because you're talking like a fucking retard.
Retard.
Now, come on, people. We've got to think. Damn it, they took our jail.
Oh my gosh, you were telling me that last week when we recorded. You were like, I love that line. Well, help yourself to a fucking science book, you fucking retard. Anyway, so yes, as you heard, they're still trying to come up with different ideas on how they can solve their jobs. Now, we get to a very good part here in South Park with Stan.
And we just fast forwarded past another part. They're supposed to be back in time trying to raise money, and these motherfuckers are rolling around on hydraulic hover cars.
That's a good point. All right, let's play that here.
Just roll up with the cars.
The boys are going to get some food, or at least try to get some food here.
Oh, dude. Can you speak in present-day English, please?
Can I help you?
Yeah, I want a double cheeseburger and fries.
Chicken sandwich.
No, a double cheeseburger and fries. What? We can't understand you, asshole. I'm trying to order a double cheeseburger. No, not a chicken sandwich. I want a goddamn cheeseburger and some goddamn fries. You fucking GooBacks.
Dan Marsh.
His reaction when he gets caught is fucking great.
So if you didn't follow it there, the boys went to a fast food restaurant where the staff is now made up of immigrants, and of course, unfortunately, don't speak the best present day English, as they don't understand Stan's order of a cheeseburger and fries, and they keep asking him if he wants a much. And the manager, who apparently has the best speaker of English, tries to come out. He does not understand either. And just as Stan is getting frustrated and yells out, "I want a goddamn cheeseburger and some goddamn fries," you fucking GooBacks, Randy, and Sharon appear as well. And that's where you heard Stan. Aw. All right. So now we go back to the rally here. We have to talk about this part too, because it's funny. So now the protesters here's what they do. They're trying to come up with ideas, and an idea gets thrown out that they should get gay. Let's talk about that. Let's hear about this.
Think, how are we going to stop these immigrants from taking their job?
Hey, I got an idea. Maybe we should all take off all our clothes, scramble into a big pile, and start getting gay with each other.
Did you say get gay?
Hey, yeah. Well, that's not a bad idea.
What, getting gay?
Think about it. These people are from the future, right? Well, if we can get everyone to turn queer, then there won't be no children to have no children, and the people from the future won't exist to take our jobs.
I ain't turning queer.
You have to, Jimbo, or else they won't be able to stop them. Damn it, they took our deal. Yeah, they took our deal. Took our deal. Let's go over to that part of town that all the future people moved into and start humping each other until they disappear. Come on.
So stupid.
Oh my God.
Come on. You want your job back or not?
You want your job back or not? Come on. You know what's interesting here in this scene? That, Jimbo says, I'm not going to get queer. But according to Mr. Garrison, his shoes say he takes it in the butt. So,
yeah,
I don't know. But so after that rally, we then go to we see kind of Little Future. It's kind of set up in this futuristic style, right? And that's where the protesters now are headed. They're headed there to try and provide this demonstration of them having sex in front of these people.
All right, you future bastards. Think you can take our jobs? Well, we'll show you. Come here, Earl.
Come here, Earl.
How do you like that, Gooback?
I'm going to point this out here. Watch. Hold on.
Come on, you guys.
You're right away. Hold on. As soon as they start...
Everyone who believes in America, join in with us. We're going to make
Look in the back. There's already somebody humping.
Yeah.
Like they're already ready to go. All right. So shortly after this, we go back to Randy's office. This is, of course, Randy. He's a geologist. Now, he's brought Stan to work to sit with him as punishment. I guess we have to kind of assume it's the weekend, probably, right? Because why would you pull him out of school to punish him? So it's probably the weekend. And rather than him getting out and having a good day, Dad takes him to work. However, he finds out that a future immigrant has also, unfortunately, taken his job. And of course, Randy is now going to join in on the fun.
Thing is, Randy, you've been replaced.
What?
We found an immigrant from the future who knows geology, and he offered to work for next to nothing. This is Mr.
You can't be serious.
I'm sorry, Randy. It's just with all the budget cuts and all, we'll give you some time to clean out your desk. Follow me, Mr. I'll show you to the coffee room.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. They took my job.
They took your job. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right. So finally here, this is where the episode is going to start to culminate here, but it starts with this first scene. CNN covers the protest at the time border, in which many men now have gotten together. And they've decided that they've taken it to the time border itself, because if the government's not going to do anything, then they're going to get gay there right in front of the people coming in hopes to stop them. Now, of course, after losing his job, as we mentioned on last week's recording, we now have a brand new spokesperson for the people who are looking to get rid of the people from the future. And it is our own lovable Randy Marsh.
Joining me now is their spokesperson, Randy Marsh. Mr. Marsh, what exactly...
He's wiping off his mouth.
We're doing the only thing we can do. If our government is just going to let anybody into our time who wants to come, then we have to take matters into our own hands. We're trying to turn everyone gay so that there are no future humans. Present day America, number one. Yeah, America. Take our job. You really think you can get enough people to turn gay to destroy the future of humanity? All we can do is try, Harrison.
Trying to stop immigration is intolerant and ignorant. Those immigrants have a right to pursue happiness.
Young man, what do you think about all this?
I think it's wrong to call them GooBacks because they're no different from us. They're just humans trying to make their lives better.
So with that, now Stan's going to come up with the idea that what they probably should do is, rather than trying to prevent the future from happening, that maybe they should, in the present day, try to build for a better future. So that way the immigrants won't need to come. And then the men in the pile, of course, realize this, it stands right. So what they do is they start to, plant trees, recycle, give to the poor, use less polluting energy, and general cleanup. It's calling of all to this environmental song. As they're doing this, the immigrants fade and the work continues. However, at one point here to conclude the episode, Stan concludes that this is gay, and Cartman's like, yeah, this is even more gay than the pile. And they all conclude to go back to the pile, and that's how the episode ends. But let's go ahead here, and we'll play you off here with that song, as well as the final moments here, and then we're going to hear a word from our sponsor, and then we'll come right back on the other side with our trivia, pop culture, and our continuity. But here's some of that information for you.
We've got to work for a better future. We've got to join hands for tomorrow. Take the first step and you will see the future begins with you and me. We can start to make a difference if we want it for our children. Recycle that can and plant that tree, cause the future begins with you and me.
Look, it's working!
The future begins with you and me.
The immigrants are fading away.
We're doing it!
We've got to work for a better future. We've got to join hands for tomorrow. Take the first step and you will see.
Dude, wait, hold on. Wait a second. This is gay. This is really gay. Yeah, this is even gayer than all the men getting in a big pile and having sex with each other. Okay, sorry, my bad. Everyone back in the pile.
Back in the pile, everyone. We're going back to the pile.
Jump in!
Come on, everybody. We're going back to the pile.
We've got to work for a better future. We've got to join hands for tomorrow. Take the first step and you will see the future begins with you and me. We can start to make a difference if we want it for our children. Recycle that can and plant that tree, cause the future begins with you and me. The future begins with you and me.
Subscribe to Suck My Balls, a South Park review on Spotify, Apple's, iTunes, anywhere you want to download a podcast. Just type that in, subscribe to our feed. You'll get the latest, greatest episode each and every week. You can also listen to us on YouTube and go back and watch some videos or any of our library. It's all there. Suck My Balls, South Park review. Hey guys, we just want to take this quick time out here just to recognize our sponsor. What's that? Well, who's our sponsor?
Baked Boys Club.
Baked Boys Club. TheBakedBoysClub.com.
The Baked Boys Club.
That's right, the Baked Boys Club. You can use our code SuckMyBallsPod and you'll save how much, Joe?
20 motherfucking percent.
20.
You heard it right.
20%.
20%.
That's right, 20%.
20.
That's 1/5 off your order just by typing in Suck My Balls Pod at thebakedboysclub.com. What does the Baked Boys Club have? Well, they've got hats, they've got shirts, they've got stickers, tons of different apparel. They've got mystery boxes, and if you use that code, according to Scoop, it brings it down to $49.95. So use Suck My Balls Pod code at thebakedboysclub.com. Baked Boys, not just a brand,
a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle. That's right.
It's a lifestyle. I may have been too big to do that.
Attention, this is Mr. Mackey. You're listening to the Suck My Balls podcast. Okay.
All right, and we're back. Once again, shout out to our sponsor there, the Baked Boys Club. Use our code SuckMyBallsPod, and you'll save 20% off your order. The Baked Boys, not just a brand. It's kind of, sort of, yes, it's a lifestyle. Joe, break down some trivia and pop culture for us, buddy.
All righty. Well, shouldn't have taken that big a rip, but we're going to persevere.
Not just a brand, it's a lifestyle. Always fresh.
Always fresh. The episode as a whole is a satire about illegal immigration, as we said earlier, and the reaction of both conservative and progressive people who attack or defend immigrants without really any discussion as to the underlying causes of immigration, being the poor conditions where they're coming from, the impact their migration is having on people's livelihoods, and a couple other things. But basically, it's a parody of what was going and what is still going on today. The Okama Game Sphere appears in the window of a game store where one of the GooBacks works. An unnamed goth girl appears in one of the montages in the episode. And this is one of the few times that the goth kids are seen smiling in the series. Jimbo is the only member of the audience at the Redneck Convention who objects to becoming gay, which, as we pointed out, is ironic because in the episode It Hits the Fan, it is implied that Jimbo is secretly gay or at least has homosexual tendencies based off what he was wearing.
Right.
When the rednecks are naked and about to get gay, a redneck in the far...
Actually, if we go back to, not to interrupt, if we go back to the two guys naked in a hot tub, when Randy blurts out the fact that he jacked off in front of Gerald in the hot tub, I believe Jimbo is one of the guys that says, yeah, I've done that. Yeah, we've all done that. So, there has been some sexual tendencies there he's referenced before. But go on, you said the
he definitely has some latent homosexual tendencies there.
They're about to get naked. You said the redneck?
Yep. When the rednecks are about to get gay, a redneck on the far right is seen wearing a hat that says John Denver Experience, a reference to the episode Cartman joins NAMBLA.
Put your hands out, don't go about the John Denver Experience.
And just plain fucking flips over, fucking terrible.
When fucking Kenny tries to fucking have his mom abort that baby.
Yeah. So, shall I continue, or you
go ahead and go to references pop culture?
For sure. All right. These are the pop culture references. When the time border gets wider and wider, and many time immigrants come through it, it basically resembles a scene from Close Encounters of the Third Kind. The appearance of the time border, including the lightning storm immediately before its appearance and the growing energy sphere, closely resembles special effects used to show characters arriving from the future in the Terminator film. Thus, it follows Terminator rules instead of the Back to the Future rules of time travel, where you can jump back and forth.
Not to be confused, though,
with Time Rider rules,
which are just plain silly.
Yes. In the news scene with the female reporter, which the boys watch at the woman's house, a hangar number 18 can be seen behind the fence. This is a reference to the Roswell incident in 1947. If you don't know what that is, where the hell you been? Look that up and get back to me. In which the remains of aliens and their spacecraft were supposedly found and flown to Wright Field, which is now Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio, and stored in Hangar 18.
And of course, there is Area 51, which is a real place that you cannot get to unless you are a government official.
Yeah, you can't cross the gate, and they
get to you as soon as you're coming over that mountain.
Oh yeah, I've driven.
Every American has researched this. Every American's nodding their head. Can't get past the mountain. Yeah.
Well, and when I lived in Vegas, you have to drive right along it. You can see the gate, the fence a couple times. It's don't fucking go here, motherfucker.
Right.
But I mean, hell, even more recently, you got the Phoenix Lights. Which, but yeah, now we're turning into ufologists and we're South Parkologists. So in the same scene, the caption given to the news report is guest from the future, which is highly unlikely that it was intentional, but it could be a reference to a popular Soviet sci-fi miniseries of the same name about a girl from the future that travels to the present and a boy who lives in the year 1984 and travels 100 years into the future.
Interesting.
It is. I kind of want to see that now. The immigrants come through the
You
portal.
have come into time portal. We must kill you. No, please do not kill me. I have brought in future vodka. Sorry.
Yeah, yes. I go 100 years in future. Somehow communism not fall.
Somehow communism not fall, but they allowed vodka. So I bring vodka from past to future,
Yes.
and I will make new vodka and become a rich millionaire.
Right. So the immigrants come through the portal covered in purple goo, hence the name GooBacks. This is obviously a reference to an American term for people from Latin American heritage, which I am not going to say the name of.
Well, basically, for those who want to know, I'm not going to say it, but when you go swimming, you get wet and you have to take the clothes off of your back. So take out the words that I had in between there, between wet and you know what I said.
And basically, and this is the basis of that word is actually from having to cross the Rio Grande, which makes sense. After the GooBacks start arriving in mass, there is a sign shown on the highway near the portal, cautioning motorists to watch for the pedestrians. There are actually similar signs on I-8 in California cautioning motorists to beware of immigrants crossing the border at I-8.
So this episode marks the first time the catchphrase under our continuity, "they took our jobs" is used. Of course, it will be used in video games and other stuff in the future.
It's used for the next 18 years.
The Raisins Girls and Goth Kids are among the townsfolk who helped to clean up South Park during the closing montage of We Gotta Work for a Better Tomorrow. The field of flowers where the townspeople gather up litter previously appeared in Osimo, as it will be again seen and as well in the episode Follow That Egg. When the protesters think that they need to turn gay to stop the future, Jimbo Kern states, "I ain't turning queer." Of course, we already referenced the fact that he could say fag as, hey there, shitty fag, shitty fag, how do you do? The homeless man... Hey, Jimbo, what are you, fucking faggot or something? Want to go home and make out? The homeless man who appeared in South Park Bigger, Longer, Uncut was shot in the new Terrence and Phillip movie, does make an appearance in this episode. Kevin Mephisto can be seen in the crowd when the townsfolk sing.
Yeah.
At the start of the episode, before the human from the future is hit by a car, a Hummer with a Three Feathers Casino logo on it drives by. The Three Feathers Casino is, of course, a fictional casino that first appeared in South Park and was featured in Red Man's Grade. And of course, Mrs. Crabtree is briefly seen at the end of the episode. This is her very last appearance before she gets killed off 6 episodes later. That's it. So that's some of your trivia, pop culture, and references to continuity. Joe, what did you like about this episode?
It was there's a lot I like about the episode just because it started the took your job trope. It really gave a little bit more basis and background to Daryl. It continues the running gag of Jimbo being closeted, as we've now touched on. This is the third time. Usually it has a pretty common sense approach to fixing some of the problem. Well, why don't we just fix what's going on in the future, or why don't we fix the present so the future doesn't suck? It's like almost the show always does, seems to have a common sense answer that no one really wants to pay any attention to.
Yeah, it's interesting because if you watch this show in 2 different eras, I think you might have 2 different reactions. I think watching it when I was 16, I found this episode to be hysterical because I didn't think about GooBacks as Hispanics. I thought it was just some made up thing South Park was making up, right? Because you're not informed, right? Now, of course, as you get older and you connect dots, you go, oh, they were referencing Hispanics, but they said GooBacks instead of, what the word we said before.
Right.
So it's interesting that even now, again, 2022 to 2004 was the original airing. 18 years later to this month, right? It still holds true because, as we mentioned at the top of the episode, Title 42 is the big argument right now on reducing the amount of immigration, or potentially this law will reduce the amount of resources that the border has right now, and therefore more immigrants could be coming in mass. And I think that is the ultimate worry. While, I think we as humans naturally want to help each other, we also have to make sure that the current house we're living in is taken care of before you start opening up front doors. I think is the consensus, and people who are against it, and then people who are for it, who are like, well, we've got plenty of space, which is true. I mean, there's tons of space in this country. Don't let people tell you that, oh my God, running out of space. No, there's a whole freaking part of the country, the Midwest. Yeah. I'm not saying you got to live there. I'm just saying, don't tell me this place. I mean, there's whole parts of California, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Nevada, Arizona, Colorado, they have no cities and no towns that can be populated. So don't say that it's just that you can't do that.
See, the thing with Nevada is 2/3 of that state is owned by the BLM and the federal government. So they'd have to start selling off a lot of that for people to move into Nevada.
Well, there you go. I liked Cartman in this episode in the early thought, breaking my bows. Snow shaving accident. I thought that was pretty funny. I like Kyle's reaction initially in the classroom. No, they should be learning our language, which is interesting because Kyle's usually one of the more tolerant guys in the morality.
Yeah, and this is this episode has a good instance of Kyle standing up to Cartman, and another example of Cartman kind of being all bark and no bite.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because you like Kyle obviously pops him in the nose, and like Cartman's like, oh well, you're lucky, blah blah blah. Like,
now I would definitely say this episode is in my top 100. What about you?
It's definitely top 150, top 125. It might crack the top 100. It's definitely in the top 35% of the show. Like there's not a lot about it to hate. It just may, and I'm not even going to say it hasn't aged well because, it goes a little over the top with the gay jokes and everything and having everyone get into a pile and everything. But it's like, it's not one of the best, but it's far, far from the worst. This is, a solid C effort. This is like a nice single. Maybe you can stretch it into a double. Wow, I am so ready for opening day tomorrow.
So I would agree. I also like the fact I liked Randy's portion in this. I like that he eventually becomes the spokesperson. And you touched on it there. I thought the pile stuff was funny. That's the extreme nature. Oh, well, we got to stop the future from happening, so let's get gay to prevent the future from happening. So, which could also, again, that could be another satire take we touched on it earlier, as far as extreme Christian conservatives thinking that if more homosexuals are getting together, that reduces population and therefore reduce, people from the future aren't going to happen. So there's a lot of interesting subject matters in there, pop cultural satire takes as far as relevancy then and now. So yeah, definitely top 100 for me. Ladies and gentlemen, though, that's going to do it. That's going to do it for another edition of Check My Balls. Check my balls. Check my balls. Check my balls. I, of course, am your host in the heat, and I can't be beat. I'm your guy who's high where the air is dry. Your boy, Matthew You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Matthew_Schaffer. You can also check us out as a podcast at linktr.ee/South Park Pod, or just type in Linktree South Park Pod on Google. All of our information will come up, or follow us directly at Suck My Balls Pod on Twitter and Instagram, and on Facebook at South Park Pod. To our boy Scoop. We miss you. Hopefully you'll be back with us next week for the douche and the turd. Joe, Dr. Dirty J, what do you got coming up for the weekend here? What is it, this April 13th?
Yeah.
14th?
Yep. So April 16th, I will be down in Colorado Springs for the Red Rocks Rumble. ColoradoSpringsWrestling.com for tickets on that one, or hit up their Facebook. I will be in Colorado Springs again at the end of the month for some good old burlesque action. And I have recently restarted my Twitch stream. So if you want to see a grown man swear a lot at video games and nerd rage, twitch.tv/JV9.
Oh, okay. So you're going to be that guy now.
Trying to.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much once again for joining us as we do each and every week reviewing South Park for you. We'll be back next week as we're going to be, the douche and the turd, which is, we're going to, of course, have one of our famous songs, Vote or Die by Diddy. Vote or die, motherfucker, vote or die. Rock the vote or else I'm going to stick a knife through your eye. Democracy is founded on one simple rule. Get out and vote or I will motherfucking kill you. I like it when you vote, bitch. Shake the titties when you vote, bitch. I slid my Jimmy through your mouth roof. Now get your big ass in that post booth. I said vote, bitch, or I'll fucking kill you. So I said download this podcast or we won't do anything malicious or violent to you. Just please download it. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back next week for another edition of Suck My Balls. Thanks for listening.
Stan, she's ovulating.
Oh, she like butter, and my girl tastes a lot like candy. When she comes, her flavor gets on everything. When we get home, baby, we can knock off the lampshades. When I go see my candy, and I call, her words they sound like butter. Miss that sweet and loving. When you get home tonight, you better be calling me. Sweating on Tuesday, lying to me, baby. Butter on the phone, Sometimes